Hello, my garden friends. This is Jersey Shore Lisa from MyNJGarden.com. Thank you for joining me in my permaculture suburban food forest. If you like videos about this subject, if you want to learn more about food forests and permaculture gardening, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And let's get started. Behind me, you'll see an elderberry bush. Right now it's very bare because that's a deciduous shrub. That means it loses its leaves in the wintertime, but gets them back again in the spring. So this is a native plant. It actually produces berries in midsummer. The berries help to support the human immune system. The birds love them too, but I have no trouble harvesting a tremendous amount of berries just from this one shrub. If the shrub is happy and growing at a good rate, you'll get berries by the third year when you plant a new elderberry bush. So I'm gonna make more so that I can share them with my garden friends. I'm also gonna take this opportunity to shape the shrub a little bit. So I am reining them in to fit the space, and that just, for me, that means I want this path in the food forest to be passable all season long. So I don't really want too many of these canes to hang over into the path. Right now they're all standing up very straight, and that's helpful, but during the season we have to remember that when this leafs out, those leaves create weight. The flowers create weight, the berries create weight, and those canes start to droop, which gives the shrub a lovely shape. It's a fountain-shaped shrub. It's beautiful, but it's very big. So I'm gonna take a few of the outside canes, which are older as well, so they tend to droop even more because they create off branches will happen the next season off of the single cane, creates more weight, droops even more. So I'm gonna take those older outside branches away and shape up the shrub. Now those older outside branches are the ones where I'm gonna take my cuttings from and then make new plants out of the cuttings. So that way the branches that are left on the shrub are undisturbed, and I'm not really taking fresh cuttings, the ends of the branches, off of the ones that will continue to grow this season. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to prune my elderberry during the growing season when it's completely out of dormancy and really trying to put on growth. Elderberry have branches that have a pith inside the center of the branches. They can be made into flutes and instruments, things like that, because it's very easy to get that middle part of the branch out of the branch. You can dig it out fairly easily and shape those branches into whatever you want to make. But it also makes these shrubs very vulnerable to pests and disease if they are pruned during the growing season, when the bugs are really out and working and looking for food and looking for vulnerable plants to infest. So we don't want to do that then. I've done that in the past to a shrub on a different property, and I had devastating results. One branch at a time began wilting, and I had to take the whole thing down to ground level, and then eventually it did regrow. But we don't want to set ourselves back in that way. I'm going to start pruning and show you my progress along the way. Remember, when pruning any fruit tree or shrub in your yard, that you want to be careful not to take too much, because that could really stress out the plant during the growing season. So you can prune up to 1/3 of the plant. And then that will actually, rather than damage, it will encourage growth and recovery and better fruiting, in fact. So definitely prune, but don't prune too much. So now that we've trimmed up that shrub and we have our elderberry branches ready to go, and here's just one of them, rather than just cutting these up and getting rid of them, I'm going to make new plants. So I'm going to show you right here. You can see that these have already started leafing out a little bit. So they want to get growing, and we're going to let them do that. I'm going to take pieces there's a good amount of space between each leaf node. So I want to have 2 of these spaces on each one of my cuttings. So I'm going to take my cutting right here above the 3rd bunch of leaves, and I'm going to put them in this bucket of water. This one is actually a really long space. Here's another piece. And this will allow roots to form on the areas of the branch that are underwater. And then once there's a significant amount of roots on each cutting, now this doesn't have any live leaves there. So I'm just going to cut that part off and get rid of it. And we're going to start where there's life. That'll be the top of that cutting. And then when there's a significant amount of roots on the bottom of each plant, I'll pot them up into potting soil, and then I'll care for them a little bit to make sure that they develop a good root system, and then they'll be ready to share and get planted out. This will all happen within just a few months. I should start seeing significant roots in about 3 weeks on these cuttings, and then I'll consider whether they're ready to plant them in soil or not. I definitely want there to be a few roots and to be kind of at least that long to get started. I don't want just little nubs of roots coming out and then just throw it in the soil, because there won't be enough in order to maintain that plant and get it going. I want significant roots. I'll put them in soil, pot them up, and keep them in a well-lit area, but make sure that they stay nice and moist. You don't want them to dry out too much. They're still babies. They need to be cared for. And then once they really start leafing out, they'll be ready to go, and I'll be able to share them with other people who want to plant native elderberries in their landscape. They're like the crazy garden dogs. Look! Oh my gosh! One more thing I wanted to show you that I add to my bucket of water with the elderberry cuttings in it to encourage the rooting to happen is a piece of willow, a few pieces of willow actually. Anything in the willow family will be good because willow has a natural rooting hormone in it. So when you put these in water, they will root so quickly, much more quickly than anything else in the bucket. But they will also release a rooting hormone that will encourage those other cuttings to root as well. I came over here to take some cuttings from this pussy willow plant, and this is its 3rd year in the ground, I think. Its 3rd year, and it's flowering for the first time. Now there's only 2 on here because it's the 1st year it's flowering, but still, here they are, the little fuzzy pussy willow flowers. And I'm so happy to see, because you can get 2 different kinds of flowers on a pussy willow. They can either be a male plant or a female plant, and they have 2 very different looking kinds of flowers. But these were the ones that I was hoping for, and I can't remember if it's male or if it's female, but these were the ones that I wanted. So I'm glad to see that it's flowering for the first time. It makes me happy. Happy spring. And I'm going to add these to that bucket of elderberry cuttings to help them root. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.